So today in this video we are looking here on Ethereum for the next trade position and also have a look on Bitcoin because we can see in the next few days the monthly close. If we starting up with Bitcoin, we directly see here when we go first of all to the daily chart. So there we see we have found already our button as in the area we talked about over the last few weeks and months that we can retest this area here between 70 and 73,000 US dollars. Now we got exactly quite to the dollar the retest and trading into higher levels. I think in the beginning of the month nobody thought about that we can close this month with a bullish candle like this, so it's absolutely good that we can see a candle like this. But when we go on the 4-hourly chart, especially like on the today chart, we see that we have a small correction for the Bitcoin price. So we can see the next resistance level would be around 92,000 US dollars, especially maybe also a little bit earlier. But we can also see very clear that we got rejected here at this area a lot of times. When we zoom a little bit out, we can see we have also seen that this is a very huge liquidity over there. So in the next, over the next, I think in the next few hours or maybe also like in the next few days, I expect definitely we are going quite a little bit lower, because when we're going on the daily chart, we can, when we remove this here, you can see that we are potentially coming down to the level between, I would say, like 92,000 up to 90,000 US dollars. There I would definitely open new buy positions, especially like on the spot position, and also on leverage. You can also leverage here some more position and trade this up. The next resistance level would be like 95,000 US dollars. So there would be like my first take profit zone. And if we go through this level, we can directly facing also like the 100,000 US dollar levels. But first of all, we definitely need to hold like this line. So my next long position for Bitcoin, for sure we can enter a little bit early, like around 92,000 or 93,000 US dollars, but the safest entry would be definitely here 90,000 US dollar with the target of 95,000, and the stop loss I would keep it like at least under this level. So we have like a 1%, 1.5% stop loss to a reward of 4% to the upside. So this leverage is definitely absolutely worth it. So that would be like the trade setup I'm looking for. And for the Ethereum position, I would looking for a short position, because I think that we can definitely test this area here again, like this part. So there I would definitely take a long position, but I can also imagine that when we are facing a little bit back, like to this level here, we can also look for a short position. But for this, we need to get entry over here, 1,780, I think, in this range. To be honest, I would see that Ethereum would be fall down up to quite like this area here, because we have a lot of liquidity grabbing there. But my first take profit will be here at 1,073 US dollars. So my second take profit would be like, around 1,690 approximately. And the stop loss would be like very tight, like only like a 0.5% up to 1% of a risk, because it's very likely that we can also see directly a bounce from this area here. So we didn't get our entry and shoot straight back up. Depends all the way also from the Bitcoin perspective, so how we see in the Bitcoin chart. But when we go on the daily chart, we can very clearly see on the 4-hourly chart, maybe even better. Yeah, now it's very clear that we have a rising wedge. And also, if we count this like here, we already had the breakdown. Maybe we get like a next retest if we count this like a fake out, so we can see a retest. Then we maybe could also stop out, so we have to pull out or stop a little bit higher, but also the entry price like around this area, and then keep the move to the downside, because it's very likely that we also reach like the bottom of the rising wedge, which would be all the way down here. So we didn't reach it here, also here. So it could be also possible that we missed our trade, but if we get a rejection here, we can re-enter this trade and trade this all the way down. Next position I would also open is a Solana position. I would definitely also want to buy on spot Solana right now. So here in this area, it's a super nice price, especially we see the huge correction like in the last few hours from this higher high over here. But we can also see very clearly that we have a higher high, and then we also have a lower high. So we can also expect that we can see Solana trading all the way down, especially like on the, depending on the market or overall on the Bitcoin price. If we see like a more correction to the downside, next position would be all the way down here, or especially like when we take this one all the way here in this area here, I would also DCA down. For a trade position on leverage, I would definitely not enter now. I would quite wait if we hold this level. So for sure you can enter, but like with a very, very tight stop loss. So like we can enter here. Stop loss would be very, very close, because it could be also very likely to be also facing like this area here on the 130 levels. And yeah, price would be all the way up there. So we have a risk to reward of 5 to 6, which is absolutely worth it. So this would be the first trade, but the more safest one would be definitely this here, all the way here, stop loss around this level, and then also like the target to the upside, 15% to the upside. These are the trades. We will keep this trade definitely for the next update. So the trade setup are on Solana for a buy position here. For the Ethereum price, I would mostly prefer like a short position. The buy position I would open around this level here and then trade it up there. Tight stop loss again, like 1%, 1.5%, maybe like here. This could be like a potential long position, but mostly I would focus first on the short position before we can enter a proper long position. Same on Bitcoin. Also like here, we'll definitely need to wait to come in the area here at 92,000 US dollar to 90,000 US dollar before we can make a next decision, because it's looking super bearish actually for Bitcoin. So we have definitely some room to the downside before we can enter a new long position. If you want to trade these trades with me, just check out the links in the video description for the best broker positions, and then we see in the next video.